So I'm back at my church and I was told that there is a surprise waiting for me in our media booth. So I have a good idea of what it is, but I'm going to share it with you guys here in a second. Let's go see if we can find our surprise here. All right. It is dark in here, as you can see. So let's get some lights turned on. And let's see if we can find what our surprise is and where it's located. And there it is. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Monte Weaver here. Welcome to the channel, helping you navigate through digital, tech, and social media. And today I'm back at my church for a very exciting installation. Now, over the past few weeks, our church has been making it a point to upgrade our equipment, more specifically, our internal equipment for services and live streaming. So we actually just received our new live streaming computer. This is a Skytech gaming machine. I'm going to put a link in the description to all the details about this specific computer below. But before we get into the unboxing and the installation, I definitely wanted to go over with you the previous setup that we had and why it's a priority that we upgrade to our new setup that will happen here in a couple minutes. So beforehand, we actually had a desktop tower PC that was controlling our live stream and some of the other little things that we had to do during the service, such as creating YouTube thumbnails and just things like that. Now, that computer is a relatively older computer, and you could tell that the actual graphics card was starting to deteriorate. We actually had some issues with jittery. So there's a lot of things your computer does behind the scenes and in the background. And as components start to wear over time, you definitely can see the effects of it. So sometimes I know you guys ask me questions in the chat or in the comment section about what could cause these issues, and chances are it's just your machine alone. So if you're running on an older machine, definitely consider upgrading. So what we've done is actually taken that computer and moved it over to allow us to control our worship songs and lyrics and scriptures, and actually remove the laptop that we had here previously. That laptop is now onto another department, onto another home. So we're actually using our old desktop computer for our graphics and everything in the sanctuary, and we're going to use our new computer to actually live stream. It's going to be doing all of the live streaming, and because it's a newer 16 gig i7 computer, this will definitely allow us to handle the streaming element for our services. So let's get into some unboxing and let's start to set this up, because we actually have service tonight. So I actually want to get this set up and test it tonight. That way we know that we're actually good for Sunday morning. So let's get into some unboxing. All right, so let's get this thing cut open. And first box here, power cable. We have a mouse, our new mouse. We have what looks to be some type of antenna, so we'll see if this is related to the Wi-Fi. And then some quick start guide, card information here. And next box, we have what's going to be obviously our keyboard. So we have our keyboard and our braided cable, USB, the nice red and black braided cable for the keyboard and the mouse. Let's see how we can get this out here. This is actually in a bag. All right, we might have to flip this over. This is heavy. All right, let's get that out the way. let's turn this over on its side. All right. It's in a nice bag here. Wow, this is clean. Clean, 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 love it. Little grid up here to keep from dust getting all inside of it, but enough for some air to come out. The fans are actually on top of this computer. We have our 3.0 USB, we have our microphone, a headphone, our power. RGB allows us to change some colors here internally. So here's on the side. We'll take this apart here in a second. And then at the bottom, power and DVI connection, HDMI, Thunderbolts back here. 4 of the 3.0 USB, Ethernet, headphone jacks, everything that we need here. So let's start to take this apart and we'll get into some more of the setup. Now it's just time to go through all the preliminary Windows setup. I am a big proponent of streaming on a Windows computer versus a Mac computer just because you get more bang for your buck. And especially in churches where budgets are limited, you definitely want to maximize that any way you can. So that's why we went with the Windows machine. And this is an i7 quad core, 16 gigs of RAM. It's kind of the minimum I would suggest if you're live streaming. Definitely don't go from your mobile devices. Definitely invest in a solid computer or a solid laptop that's capable of actually handling the processing power of video, because you're putting in like 1080p video. You're also running audio. So just simply being able to have enough power will definitely help you with a lot of headache going down the road. And we also have an awesome graphics card in this computer as well. So that will definitely help improve the overall quality of the actual video. All right, now that we've got some of the preliminary Windows setup out of the way, now we have to install the programs that we need back on here for live streaming. And the #1 program that we're going to use is OBS. So that is my recommendation for churches that want to take their live streaming to the next level with some production value behind it. It's a free software. So if you have not checked that out, definitely check out the link above here where that video has helped hundreds of churches around the world be able to actually not only set up OBS, but actually use it. So if you have one person operating everything from audio to media, they can definitely leverage this software. It allows you to add in lower thirds and graphics, music. It lets you create your own custom broadcast. So it's an awesome software. So check that out if you haven't already. So let's jump out to the internet world and download this. So we have Google Chrome, and we will go out to obsproject.com. There are a couple plugins that I'm definitely want to use as well. So it looks like the newest version is 25.0.8 right now. And once this opens up, we will install it. So we'll go ahead and launch it. And we don't need any of that. I don't do auto configuration. I already know how I want to set it up. We'll do studio mode. So we have our 2 screens. We'll bring this up a little bit higher. So there is our OBS. Now there are a couple plugins that I do want. The one in particular that I want is the one that I reference with OBS Studio Controls. So if you're using a media source like announcements and you want to play a video, you can actually play, pause, stop, and rewind. I'll link to that video in the description section as well. So that's an OBS plugin that's free. So the only way I know how to get to it off the top of my head is to actually go to YouTube and actually find my own video with the direct link to it. So let's do that. So we'll type in OBS Studio Controller, and let's see, does my video come up top?
3 hours later.
Here's my video. Okay. We need to get my videos ranking higher, so make sure you guys like this video if you're getting some value from it. So we'll go and first download the updated Visual C++. Well, before we download that, let's see if it already has it on here. So we'll go straight to the download, and we'll download that, and we'll save it, and we'll open up our folder, put these on our desktop, and everything to all the steps I'm taking now is in the other video. So we will go to our directory for OBS, and let's go to Program Files, OBS Studio, and paste, continue. All right, so let's minimize that, and let's go to OBS to see if it's in here. Tools and Docs, Media Controls. All right, cool. So we didn't need our C+ visual, so we got our Media Controls in here. So let's clean this up, delete, and empty that. And let's close that because we don't need this anymore. And get this off of our toolbar. We'll make sure we pin our Google down here. I like getting to Google Chrome quick, and then also OBS will pin that to our toolbar as well, so we can get to it quick. All right, so we're making some progress. Now, what I want to do is, I have some graphic overlays that are already ready to go that were on the old computer, so I had to take those off. Now, if you haven't already, I'm creating a video at the time you're watching this, or already created one, and I just recently got another external hard drive. These are great for when you're traveling and you need to keep files together, and especially video files. I film a lot of these videos for you guys on YouTube in 1080p and 4K, so those files can get pretty big. So this is a 5 terabyte USB external drive. And then this is the other one I've had for quite some time. So all my files for the church are on here. So we will plug this into our USB port right on top, which is nice and convenient. And we should get a pop-up here. And we'll open up this folder. And now I need to open up another window because I'm going to create a folder on this computer specifically for our files. So we'll go into our public. We don't want public, we want this one, and documents. So I'm going to create a brand new folder, call it OBS Files, and I'm going to copy. These are announcements. I'm not sure what I did with those files, so we'll delete this part of me talking about finding the files because I don't remember where they are. All right, so all my OBS files are now on here. I had to grab those off the other computer. And our VBCC live stream folder, we will copy this to our computer here locally and paste it here. And now we will open up OBS and build out our scenes again. And one thing in OBS, I always like to have my first scene as blank, and that's kind of my fail-safe. So if anything goes wrong, I can always go to a blank screen. Now we need to actually turn on our cameras. So let's make sure our cameras are working. So both of our cameras are Elgato connected directly to our 3.0 on the back of the computer. So let's restart OBS. and make sure we got a fresh. So we're gonna go call this one main camera. Select OK, and I'm gonna go into our resources section, video capture device. We'll call this camera 1. Always get in the habit of calling your items in OBS what they actually are, just to make your life easier. And there goes our first camera. We will change the resolution on this to 1920 by 1080. We will select OK. Make sure this fits nicely. Now, right now, I can tell there's settings that need to be changed in OBS because this should fit perfectly. You shouldn't have any black space. So we're gonna go into OBS. It's always fun setting up new stuff because you have to go back and change everything that you forgot you changed to begin with. So let's start by changing our recording to MP4. So if we record anything in OBS, it's saved it to an MP4 format, which is just a lot easier to use and work with. On our base canvas size, this is what's wrong. So we're changing this to 1920 by 1080. And then again, 1920 by 1080. And let's see, our output should be correct. Our stream, we will switch this to YouTube and grab those settings here a little later and hit apply and OK. Now we can adjust this and it fits nicely on screen. And we will add our second camera. So we'll call this side camera. And this will be another video capture device. We'll call this camera 2. Select OK. And let's see if we pick it up. Cam link. It sees it here. It isn't quite picking up. So sometimes if it doesn't pick up initially, I just close OBS and then I reopen it. And let's see here. If it doesn't pick up that way, we'll try it this way. So I just reset the connection on the camera and add existing camera 2. All right, I see a little red dot, so that's a good sign. So we'll close and reopen. And try one more time. And still nothing. So we'll have to do a little troubleshooting on why that's not populating here. So we'll do video capture device. And I want to right click this time and go into remove. Okay. So I think it's because I might have the two on the same bus, and that means I'm gonna have to swap something out. All right, so had to go in the back of the computer and switch something out real quick. So essentially when you're using multiple cam link devices, there's something on the back of the computer or built into the computer called the buses, and you don't wanna plug them into the same buses because it'll just get overworked. So easy way of thinking about it is if you have 4 more USB slots in the back of your computer, what I did was just change where I plugged them in at. So I actually took out the keyboard and plugged the camera into where the keyboard was and the keyboard into where the camera was existing. Now you can see if I select main camera, I have the main. If I select side camera, I have the side. So they're both now showing up. So now we're good to go. Now, another thing to note is on the right-hand side in our mixer section, our cameras are actually bringing in audio, and we do not want that. That will cause audio to be heard multiple times over. So the only audio we actually want is the audio coming from our audio mixer, which is turned off at the moment. So any audio coming in here right now is not the audio we want. So we'll make sure that we get rid of these. And we can actually hide these because we don't want to use them at all. And I'm going to go into our audio properties in our sound control and make sure that these are disabled because we don't want any of this audio actually coming in. So we'll disable all of these because the only audio we want is our microphone audio, which is our audio mixer. So now that we have that turned off, we're good to go. So now we'll build out a couple of these scenes. So right now we just have our cameras by themselves. So what I like to do is just right click and duplicate. So I'll do main camera and backspace. And we have one slide that has the service times on it. So I'll do services. And awesome thing about OBS is you can just drag and drop. So I'll add services here. I will duplicate. We have one called website. We'll remove the services one and add the website one. We'll duplicate again. And we have giving. And we just build out all our scenes ahead of time. All right, I got all my scenes built out, so it's about 5 minutes to build out everything. We have our logo scene, our countdown timer scene, our thumbnail for YouTube, a blank screen, main camera, side camera, and then all of our lower thirds for our main, and then all of our lower thirds attached to our side camera. So now, as you can see, we need some audio. We have no audio in our mixer. All the audio is gonna come through our soundboard. So I'm gonna turn this stuff on and get some audio going to make sure that we're good to go. So now we have working audio coming through our mixer, and we can adjust our audio with the slider up and down. So now we know that works. So we have everything set up with the new computer now, keyboard, mouse, and tonight we'll actually be live streaming. So I'll actually be using my other setup over here to actually do our live stream to YouTube. So mission accomplished. Hey, if you guys got some value from that video, make sure you like this video. Make sure you leave me a comment below. And if you're not already, get subscribed to the channel so you can see every time I upload a brand new video. And I'll see you in the next one.